Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Precision Politics. In today's video, we're on the topic of will Joe Biden still win Michigan in the 2024 presidential election despite 100,000 people voting uncommitted. Now, but before we get started, make sure you guys are subscribed and click the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them. And also we have memberships, so if you are looking for that, it's pinned in the comment section down below. Now back to the topic of today's video. So for those of you who do not know, 100,000 people voted uncommitted, which is a protest vote of the Gaza war, mainly by Arabs, which could trend the state away from Biden this election cycle. And those 100,000 people are typically Arab Democratic voters that are displeased or unpleased with the Biden administration's handling of this war. And as we all know, Michigan is a crucial state that helped Biden surpass 270 electoral votes back in the 2020 election, and it also helped Donald Trump win the 2016 presidential election. So no matter which election we're taking a look at, Michigan will also play a crucial role as a battleground or swing state. In majority of elections, whoever wins Michigan will more than likely win the entire presidential election. So here are the exact numbers in the 2024 Democratic Michigan primary. These are the results. 101,000 people voted uncommitted, which, like I stated earlier, is a protest vote mainly by Arab Democratic voters that typically usually vote Democratic but are displeased with Biden's handling, so maybe they won't turn out for him this time around. And that is 13% of all Democratic voters. That's a big percentage. And if they don't turn out for him in the actual election, Donald Trump can very well be on track to actually winning this state. And keep in mind, Biden only received 620,000 votes, which is around 81%, which is less than what Donald Trump received in the Republican primary. Donald Trump received, I believe, 700,000 to 800,000 votes in the Michigan Republican primary in 2024. So considering that Donald Trump received more votes in the Michigan primary than Biden himself, a huge red flag for the Biden campaign, and he needs to solve this issue very quick because the election is right around the corner, and what's going on with Hamas and Israel is not cooling down, and a ceasefire at this point is not going to happen. So, I mean, as long as this continues, it's not going to be good for the Biden campaign in this election cycle. And here's President Biden's approval rating on the handling of the Israel/Palestine conflict. He is underwater by a net negative 28 points, almost. He's disapproved of by a staggering 60% on this issue, and he's only approved of by almost nearly 33%. That is extremely bad news for Joe Biden. And as long as he continues to do absolutely atrocious on this issue itself, it's not going to be looking good for him in some of these swing states that can decide the outcome of the 2024 election, like Michigan, for example, in which if Biden loses Michigan in 2024, he is more than likely losing the entire election because there's going to be a handful of states, voting to the right if Michigan flips. So, for example, if Michigan flips to Donald Trump in 2024, more than likely Wisconsin is going to go along with it, and Pennsylvania could also potentially go along with these three states because obviously the Rust Belt states don't really split apart. They always vote in the same one direction. For example, 2020, the three Rust Belt states, the most important ones, all voted in one direction in favor of Biden. In 2016, the three Rust Belt states all voted in one same direction in favor of Donald Trump. In 2012, the entire Rust Belt voted in one way in favor of Barack Obama. So the Rust Belt states don't split apart. They never break away from each other. They always vote in one direction. Whatever one state does, the others will follow. For example, Wisconsin went to Biden. Michigan, Pennsylvania did as well. Back in 2016, Pennsylvania went to Trump. Michigan and Wisconsin did as well. So basically, whatever happens in Michigan, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania will probably most likely follow. And in my opinion, Wisconsin will be the first Rust Belt state that will be called, and then it probably would be Pennsylvania, and then lastly would be Michigan. But I'm just saying that if Michigan goes to Trump in 2024, I'm basically probably the entire Rust Belt will as well. And then I think actually Arizona would probably flip before them, and I think Georgia would actually be the first flip for Donald Trump on that night. And maybe if Trump is lucky enough and he actually does well with the popular vote, he has a shot at winning a state like Nevada if Biden does absolutely terrible, maybe even worse than Hillary Clinton did in 2016. So maybe Donald Trump wins 312 electoral votes in this scenario in which Michigan votes for Donald Trump in 2024, which this exact map is what the polls are reflecting. The polls exactly suggest that Donald Trump will do better than his 2016 margin. And keep in mind, back in 2020, he actually did better than he did in 2016, even though he still lost. He still got 10 more million votes. But all I'm going to say is that if Trump wins Michigan in 2024, then he's probably going to flip every other swing state that he lost in this case. Now, if Biden wins Michigan, that will be a completely different story. If Biden wins Michigan in 2024, maybe he probably still wins Pennsylvania. And maybe there is a scenario in which Trump still wins Wisconsin even though he loses Michigan. And maybe Nevada would remain in Biden's column, but still Trump barely wins the election. At the end of the day, this should worry the Biden campaign, the Biden administration. This should worry them, because Biden needs to solve this issue. And you have these pro-Palestinians that are, displeased, unpleased with, Biden's handling of this issue. And if, Netanyahu continues to do what he's doing and actually invade Rafah, the capital of Gaza, I believe, then that's not going to be good for the Biden campaign. And considering that there are 240,000 Arabs in the state of Michigan alone, that is enough to actually flip the state in favor of Donald Trump. And let's say half of those people vote, like they did in the primary. 100,000 people voted uncommitted. That's roughly 13% of the overall support, and which actually led to Trump getting more votes than Biden did in the Michigan primary. And I know you may say, oh, Biden's the incumbent, so people are not going to turn out as much as they would in the general election. Well, that may be the case, but you still have 100,000 people voting uncommitted, which, let's say most of those people that won't turn out for Biden in 2024 would cost him the state. And Biden won the state back in 2020 by 3%. So if you were to subtract 240,000 votes, that almost might be enough to have Donald Trump win the state, considering that if Biden is very much disapproved on the issue, which he very well is, he's underwater by almost 28 percentage points. He's disapproved of by 60 points. When do you ever see a incumbent president, not a former president, but an incumbent president who's disapproved of by 60% on an issue? This is not good news for the Biden campaign. It's really not, and they should really focus on this issue, because if they don't, and if they leave this issue behind, then he's probably not going to win Michigan in 2024. And if you are saying, oh, maybe the aid will help and they would still turn out for Biden, well, the aid going into Gaza, people are saying that that's not enough, and they want to see more. They want to see a ceasefire. They want to see Netanyahu resign or something, and that's not going to happen. So I don't think Biden is going to fix this issue, and if I'm right, he's probably not going to win Michigan. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below on this topic. Do you think that Biden receiving less votes than Donald Trump in the Michigan primary is worrisome? And also, do you think 100,000 people voting uncommitted is enough to actually flip the state in favor of Donald Trump in 2024? Let me know your opinions. One last final reminder before I end out the video is we have memberships, so if you are looking for that, it's pinned in the comment section down below. You can use custom emojis and custom perks every time you comment on any of my videos, and also make sure you subscribe and click the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video instead of missing out on any of them.